So the Samsung Galaxy S10 is a very interesting phone. It's been out for so many years now, so let's go and see how this particular phone holds up in the later part of 2023. Now, this phone originally came out in 2019, and I remember the day this phone came out, I was so hyped for it. I went to the store, bought it, and although nothing has really crazily changed this specific year, even in the later part of 2023, this phone holds up so well it's not even funny. This display on this phone is still like crazy how good of a job this phone holds up from that perspective. 6.1 inch dynamic AMOLED display, 1440p, like this is a higher resolution display than even like the S23, which is crazy. It's easily one of the best, panels I've seen that, Samsung has made at that time, and it still looks very good. Getting the hole punch display, this was the first Samsung phone from the S series to have that hole punch display. Very thin bezels, fingerprint sensor of the display. One of the best upgrades Samsung has ever made, without a doubt. On the bottom, you're getting USB Type-C, which is amazing, headphone jack, and microSD card slot. That right there signifies that this phone is a legend, one of the last Samsung phones to have this type of capability on their main flagship S series of devices as well. Glass on the back, triple camera setup, like this phone literally had it all. You could still kind of use this phone in some ways and still feel like you're having a very killer phone because it's just that crazy from that specific perspective. So on the exterior, thumbs up for me without a doubt. Now the other thing was with this phone, the camera. The camera quality was actually very good, and for what you were getting at that time, it was a very decent performing device from that caliber. I think the triple, camera setup, the wide ultra telephoto lens was super nice, but also having that 4K at 60 on the front and the back was super nice, and that really did future-proof this phone for a long period of time. I still feel like you could actually go ahead and buy a device like this and still feel like you're having a very good camera, which was very decent. Now, of course, we're getting 8K capability and all that, but this was still a very decent camera at that time. Now, software longevity is one of the things that I kind of would be hesitant on buying this particular phone. And the reason for that is because we really don't know how much longer this phone's going to be supported with software. I'll probably tell you, it's kind of already outdated. It stopped at Android 12. Is it a big difference between Android 12 and Android 14? I don't think it's going to be like a massive difference. It's still like kind of getting some security updates here and there. But the problem is that if you're buying this phone today, you're going to be buying a phone that's already 2 years outdated with software, potentially 3 years next year. So you don't want to go ahead and buy a phone like that, in my opinion, where it's already going to be outdated when you buy it. But if you're using this phone, that's a different story. You might still be able to use it for a little bit longer, but I would still keep your eye on phones like the S21 or S21 FE or S23 FE. Like those types of phones are going to be giving you overall better experiences from the software standpoint, which is very important. Performance-wise, this is kind of the thing that may be aging a little bit. That Snapdragon 865 chipset with 6 gigs of RAM on the base model, but it does go up to 8. It's a decent performing phone from a lot of different perspectives you look at it. The thing I'll tell you, and this was the 855, not the 865, I think I misspoke. The 855 chipset, I'll tell you, like it's a good performing chipset when it first came out, but like I said, it definitely has been showing its age, and that's just kind of what happens. When you're getting these types of older devices, they're not going to be the latest and greatest. They're going to have problems and issues, so that's just kind of what's happening. Like if you're doing basic things, I'm sure it's going to be okay. But if you're expecting it to go up a notch and kind of, do other things, it's not really going to be that crazy great of a performing phone. So just kind of keep that in mind in the back of your head. So to kind of wrap it up, I think this phone still has so many flagship features that a lot of other phones that are coming out today don't even have. Like this phone had a reverse wireless charging, microSD card slot, headphone jack, Samsung DeX, really decent camera, and for how old this phone is, I think it's still doing a really decent job. It's not perfect, and I'd recommend going a different approach, like buying a phone that's still supported with software, but I think Samsung did a good job with this phone, and overall, I think it's still a really decent phone for the most part. I just kind of wouldn't recommend buying it. So that pretty much covers it up here. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.